What's up? What's good? Matt Clark here at the new Matt Clark. How are each and every one of you doing on this amazing Friday? I'm doing great. My girl's doing great. My family's doing great. I hope each and every one of you are doing great, even though we're going through these crazy, chaotic times. If you could please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that bell notification button so you get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of all of my videos. So what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? How are y'all doing? I feel like it's been a while since I've been around. I've been super busy. I just had a busy week. What can I say? I was out late last night. I had to do a bunch of driving. But we're here now. We're going to have a new video up this weekend. Just want to say what's up to my peeps. So, David Burke, what's up? Canadian person, what up? GM, man, I'm good, brother. I'm good. My life is good. Sure, I feel like at this point in time, we're all going through it a little bit. Things have kind of been crazy for everybody, right? But I think that, in the bigger picture, my life is great. My relationship is great. And, everything in my life is coming together. And I think that, sure, this is an obstacle. This is a bump in the road the last year and a half. And, it's going to test a lot of people's mettle. But at the end of the day, it's going to also show a lot of people what they're made of, what they're capable of, despite whatever conditions they're going through. And I just think that that's big. Dave Black, man, what's up? Truman Hunter. I wasn't in Collins Bay. I was in Joyceville Penitentiary, which is where I did most of my federal time. I was in Fembrook Penitentiary. I was in Millhaven Penitentiary twice for reception. I was in Kingston Penitentiary twice for the TD unit, which is parole violators. And that is it for pen time. Bobby's World, what up, man? KR10, I got 5 serious charges I'm facing. Your video, you said. I don't understand, KR10. Glad to hear things are going well. Just wanted to drop by and show some support. Keep on keeping on. You already know, Canadian person, man. I appreciate that. The charges you have are 20 years each. Where exactly are you? Are you in the States or are you in Canada? I do know a little bit about Barton Street, but not really. I never did time there. I do know that when I was in Tyack, the only other young offender jail that got any respect in the province, really, phase 2, was Barton Street. And a lot of guys that were from Tyack would get shipped to Barton Street, and there would be a lot of beefs between Toronto and Hamilton. And then later on in the federal system, I bumped into a lot of Hamilton guys, and I actually really like a lot of dudes from the city. So shout out to Hamtown. Jay, man, shout out to Tokyo and you in Tokyo. Wow. 20 years each for charges in Canada? That's tough. You must have some serious charges. I know you said something about a video, but I didn't really understand. So, hey, Matt, I went off the other day before you said the letter on FPS. Was just curious. Oh, a D. King Rock, what up, big dog? What are you saying? Ryan Foster, mate. I'm not an X Games guy. I appreciate it, but I'm not personally an X Games guy. Brad, new Ontario viewer, thanks for giving us the inside scoop. You have some really interesting stories. You already know. And, at the end of the day, my whole goal is to just help prepare people who could possibly be going in and help people who may be thinking about going down that road. It's not worth it. At the end of the day, it's a lose, 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 really. Even if they're success for a long time, eventually it's going to catch up with you, and it's just not worth it. My hubby was in phase 2. He's from Brantford, so he had to fight. And yeah, phase 2, everybody had to fight. Mario Williams, what's up, man? My cat's good, but he's annoying. He's crazy. He's in that little super annoying kitten stage. It drives me nuts. But he's super cute, and when he's calm, he's good. He's just really young, so he's still in that stage where he's annoying. Just notice how many subscribers you have. Congrats. You already know, Sam G. Thank you very much. Just notice, when are you doing the video on getting out in your relationship? So, just because life has been really busy, I'm going to do that. The next video I'm going to do is going to be the winner of that poll that I just put up. And then from there, the next video after that could possibly either be an interview or the video with my girl. We'll see. If you can listen, you can probably hear my cat meowing. Attempt aggravated assault with weapons dangerous. Yeah, I know that you can get those maximum time, but you're not going to get that maximum time. Now, a lot of the time, people who originally get charged with attempted murder, the attempt murder will get dropped down to aggravated. If you have an aggravated, it could possibly get dropped down to assault causing bodily harm. It's just kind of how they bargain with you, but that's not always true. You're right. If they have strong evidence against you, you are going to get some numbers, but you're not going to get 20 years for each charge. You would get if you got convicted of everything that's on that record, which, I don't know, but if you literally got convicted of all those charges, you definitely would probably be looking at the double-digit numbers. But I wouldn't say you get much more than that, especially if you don't have a long, drawn-out record. Should the public school system fund more prevention programs? I definitely think so. I definitely think that it's a lot better just to be honest and just kind of guide people. I think that a big part of why I kind of rebelled when I was younger was because of strict enforcement. I come from a good home, but I had strict parents with strict rules when I was young. And for me, I just wasn't prepared to hear it. And because of the family dynamic, I really didn't have anybody that I could confide in my family. So therefore, I went out to the streets because of how much stuff was going on. But I definitely think that, they should start kind of educating people about certain things. I don't think kids in elementary school should necessarily have to see that stuff, but I definitely think in high school there's lots of programs. You can see a lot of stuff before it ever gets to the point where somebody's going to prison. There's a lot of behavioral things that'll happen. I think that's what CBT is. I think a lot of the time people could put that CBT behavior into somebody who's gone through trauma at a young age, and I think that it's really just acting out. It's looking for attention a lot of the time. But yeah, I definitely think you could do that. Yeah, you're not. Yeah, I know that those are the max numbers for that, but you're never going to get that. If you're not some crazy ass person with some crazy long record, it's not going to happen that way. Just do what you got to do, man. You know what you got to do. You got to find yourself a good lawyer and you got to fight those charges. And if it comes down to a point where somebody's getting convicted for a charge, then you'll see what numbers. But if it's a first offense, Canada's never just going to throw the book away at you like that. I know, Dare. I was in Project Turnaround, which is a year phase 2 of the same program, basically. Bailed out of South Detention, now on house arrest. Man, that's probably a good thing, I feel like anytime you're on bail, you have a much better chance of fighting charges. If you're in prison, sometimes you can be forced into certain things that can kind of reflect on your record as maybe you're somebody that you're not because you have to defend yourself or something. It might not look that way because you could win. You just never know. And I think sometimes people just being inside waiting on their charges kind of puts them in an environment where they have no choice sometimes. And I think that, yeah, you're always in a much better situation if you're on bail. So congrats. Late again, but made it. Joanne, you already know. Thank you. You're a loyal subscriber. I appreciate that. Fantastic week. You already know, Keratin. It's not until you get older that you realize how much childhood trauma has affected you. I totally agree. And, you know, I used to deny that the things that happened to me when I was young had that major impact on me. But, you know, clearly they did. You know, I was raised with a two-parent household. You know, I never was in poverty, real poverty, although there were times in my life where we struggled at times where we had to, you know, we never had extra. But at the end of the day, I always had everything I needed. It wasn't that. I think that the dynamics of my family changed when certain events happened, and it forced a lot of attention to be focused in certain directions, which left some of us, you know, kind of fending for ourselves. And for me personally, I went to the streets. Yo, going to London for Bam Bam tomorrow. You already know, man. Shout out to you guys. A good lawyer definitely makes a world of difference. People don't think so. And you can find good legal aid lawyers, but there's a strategy to it. So if you convince some kind of a big name lawyer to take your case legal aid, you know, because I think they have to take so many cases, but they also want to look like they're charitable. So they're going to take some cases. But what they're going to do is they're going to pawn you off on their underlings, their students, interns, and things like that until you get to trial, possibly. But most likely, they're just going to try to plead you out. What you want to do is you want to look for a young lawyer, someone who's trying to build their name, but they haven't got it yet. They're smart. They've built up a little bit of a reputation as being somebody who's kind of a bulldog. That is what you want. It's not all about flashy. It's not always about being the big top. Now, the big shot lawyers, what they're going to do is they're going to get you bail. That's where the game changes, because there's certain lawyers, if you get them, you're getting bail. It's almost guaranteed, unless your behavior is just crazy on the inside or your charges are just ridiculous on the outside. But yeah, my bro's out. He's been out since January last year. I was wondering, after all the chaos you've been through, do you struggle with nightmares? Honestly, I don't. I've never had nightmares in my life. There was times where I think the dreams were supposed to be nightmares, but I wasn't affected by dreams. Remember, I did hallucinogenics my whole life. Like, dreams never scared me. Now, I had dreams that made me think and were, I think, supposed to be kind of nightmare dreams to kind of teach me something. But yeah, definitely the young lawyer who wants to build their name is the best way to go if you have to go legal aid. I don't care what anybody tells you, because until they have the record and the reputation, they can't charge those big bucks. So they're making what they would be anyways off legal aid, and that is guaranteed money, which for a young lawyer is important. Somebody who has, you know, law school bills and stuff like that, or debt. So they're definitely going to do it. And those are the lawyers that fight no matter what. They're at every court date. They're fighting at your bail hearing. You're not giving them nothing. You know, sometimes you can throw them a little extra cheese on the side if you want to do that. Yeah, pardon my presence. That can happen too. It definitely can happen. So that's why I definitely say a big shot lawyer is never the way to go, unless you know somebody who has a personal relationship with that lawyer, or you have a public case where that is all through the news, where it's going to help them build their reputation in the eyes of the public. That's what's important. See, my lawyer, Her name is Mary Creamer. She's been my lawyer since I was young, a bulldog lawyer. But over the process of me having her as a lawyer, she became like a murder lawyer. So, you know, me being on property crimes, break and enters and stuff like that, really and truthfully, she's not going to be dealing with my case. But just out of loyalty and stuff like that, she kept dealing with me. At the end, the last couple times that I dealt with her, I definitely was dealing with a lot of like underling lawyers, but I had no problem with it because these were lawyers that were actually hungry, smart, and trying to build their name. And I was able to kind of feel it out. Female lawyer can definitely be a smart move. Yeah, Mary Creamer is a well-known Toronto lawyer if you're in the criminal lawyer field. She's not on the level of like Joe Blumenfield or Clayton Ruby or a Lockyer or like a Pinkowski or a Penman, but she's right up there. She's getting up there. She's building her name up there. You know, and definitely, I think that if you have a female lawyer that's kind of gotten up there in a man's field, because let's be honest, like lawyers, typically the big shot lawyers are men. So for you to see a female lawyer that has kind of worked her way up there and has that top shot lawyer respect, and you know she's a dog, the fight she had to go through to get there. I know Mary Hanno. AKA 100K or see you later. And that's just your retainer fee. But if you drop like, if you get certain lawyers and you drop that 100K on your retainer, you're most likely probably going to get bail. You might be on 24-hour a day house arrest, but you'll probably get bail as long as you don't have like some crazy, crazy bad record. And if you do have a name brand lawyer and you're not necessarily expecting to beat all charges, but you would like to get the best possible deal, that's when a name brand lawyer is the best. Because a name brand lawyer is going to be able to kind of work their way through the system and get the best deal quietly, you know, so it doesn't really attach to their name. And you see that also a lot. I don't know specifically any great lawyers that deal with dangerous offender cases because I've never really talked to anybody about it. I do know a couple people that are dangerous offenders. I know some guys that are in the system that I did time with that are in that rare classification, but I don't know personally. You'd have to look it up. The only lawyer I've ever had hire got me off DUI in college, but he was referred to me in Unirep from Molson's and very expensive. Yeah, for sure. You know, the top criminal lawyers are the top criminal lawyers. And if you get one of those top criminal lawyers pro bono and your case is kind of quiet, believe me, you're getting a pro bono lawyer. But if you pay the big bucks and you are a assertive client, then they're going to work for you. You know, just you just have to find the right lawyer for the right situation. Yeah, like Clayton Ruby and those lawyers, they're in the six figures to start, just to walk in the door. And that's why I paid my lawyer 10 stacks and she did nothing. I got lucky and the judge was from my country and let me out. Yeah, you know, because in lawyers' fees, 10 stacks is really just nothing, right? And I know, like, for a lot of us, like for me, 10 stacks is crazy. It would take me a long time to put that money aside. But for a lot of lawyers, that's like a week, you know? So they can take it or leave it. I'm confused how any normal person can afford 100 to 300K. But you got to remember, these aren't normal people. The people that are getting those lawyers are big shot criminals, whether it's a biker, a mobster, like a white collar criminal, like a Wall Street criminal, or like a Fed, some Fed who gets charged with something and the government's backing him. You know, those kind of like big money lawyers, like a Michael Jackson lawyer, like what's that dude's name? Johnny Cochran was OJ's lawyer. But those kind of lawyers, a lot of people don't afford legal counsel, and that's why a court like Newmarket Courthouse has a 98% conviction rate. You know, I've literally been in that courthouse and seen legal aid lawyers with stains on them, rips in their jackets. They don't even care. They're just getting a paycheck and going home. That's it. They're what I call existers. And there's a lot of those people in the world. Your dad? Who's that, Maddie? They stack just for that reason. Stack for a rainy day. That's it. If you're doing... That's your dad? How old are you? Yeah, he's my dog, though. I got love for Maddie. Maddie is hilarious. Yo, let me tell you something. Your dad is hilarious. Some of the funniest things I saw in prison involved your dad. He's solid as a rock, though. Ben, you can't ask me that question on here, but you already know. I definitely think it's a lab leak. I definitely don't think it, anyways, we can't talk about that on here, but you already know. I don't want to get my stuff flagged. Sorry. I'm trying to get him to do that interview. Yeah, that would be an awesome interview. Honestly. Not that direct ad. No, Canadian prisoners do not get moved pen to pen. So you go through reception, which is Joyceville Penitentiary, which is in Kingston. Kingston Penitentiary is a city of about 150,000 in Ontario, pretty much on the border of the U.S., right at the far east side of Lake Ontario, and right along the Rideau Canal. And once you go from there, you go to one of the other prisons, whether Warkworth, Collins Bay, Joyce, Fembrook, Bath. But most of the prisons are in Kingston. There's only two federal prisons that aren't, and that is Warkworth Penitentiary, Beaver Creek Minimum, and Beaver Creek Medium. That's it. You already know, Mike. McLegend. Tell him if he ever sees Robbie, man. Tell him I said shout out to him. Okay, I understand. No, it's not that. It's just that, I feel you, brother. I just don't want my channel to get shut down. And that's facts. You know how that goes, man. Go watch no, I'm not gonna do it. Don't worry about it. They do own the world's apartment. The world's dead. Yeah, what? Do you know why they transport Americans all over the map? I have no idea. It seems like just excess punishment to me. I don't see other reason to do it. We definitely call those lawyers dump trucks. That is definitely the word. Ken Murray, one of my first lawyers, is definitely one of those dump trucks. He was the lawyer that got caught with the Bernardo tapes. Was a big shot lawyer at one point, and dump trucked. And now he's just a beep, beep, beep. Yeah, you already know, David Burt. Hopefully it keeps going. Yeah, see, in Canada, you basically are stuck. Once you get to your mother institution, that's it. You don't move anymore. You're done. It would be really difficult for you to get from one prison to another. You'd have to have you'd either have to be like a check-in running, you'd have to be kicked out of a prison for some reason, or you'd have to be shipping out of province, which would take forever, and you'd have to have a valid reason to go there. Other than that, unless you get sent higher up in security, it's not happening. Diesel therapy, you know what I mean? Kyle, man, down there, anything's expensive right now. You got to remember, like, say a restaurant, which typically can hold like 300 or 400 people, maybe even 100 people. Say it has like a little balcony so they can have like 6 tables out there, but they're running this whole restaurant. Oh, the prices are crazy, man. As in Niagara Falls, the prices are nuts for not good food. You can tell they're also sacrificing on quality of product, so they're buying cheaper product and charging more money for it. Stage 3 today. Sorry, Joanne, I lost you a bit. I'm stoned. What would be a valid reason for what? And if you're in the building, come on, go up, hit that like button. It's easy to do. It helps the channel. You already know. I'm waiting for Joanne to... I swear I smoke so much weed that I have these like memories. Here we go. I tried to go back. I can't find it. Hold on. This is why it's great to be in Canada. Stoned. Part of my present done, brethren. You already know. How long did it take your brother to work his way out of the system? Exactly 25 years. Exactly. 32 people watching and only 9. Thanks. Hit something up. No, there's 27 likes. There was 19. Damn, my husband told me I smoke too much. You know what? Honestly, like, I used to smoke a lot more than I do now, but I guess I still smoke a lot. Over the years, do you feel like you've had good judges in a certain city and piece of trash ones in other? I just think it depends on the judge in the courthouse. You know, you can have good ones and bad ones in each courthouse. And your lawyer will tell you, look, we got to put it off for like a month so I can get in front of this judge. That happens sometimes. The food does vary between institutions. Some institutions you get to cook your own food, some you don't. It's all crap if it's jail provided meals. What do you do for work? Yeah, I'm in the construction field for sure. I work with heavy equipment. If you're awake at it, it's pretty low key and wants to do time as peacefully as possible. Does being a good ball player gain any respect? It honestly, it definitely does. It definitely does. And I'd say if you're in a prison population with a lot of black guys and you can ball with them, it would definitely earn you some respect. But you got to get there first. You understand? You got to get into that game. You got to get there first. I just got the post today and got my pound of weed and gummies and vape pen. You already know. Good for him. I like the video. Part of my present. Have you noticed the boom in weed stores? They shut down mom and pop stores for the good smoke. Yeah. There's weed stores everywhere. I don't, yeah. To the weed stores. Too much money, man. Too much money for subpar products. Now, there are some weed stores that have decent weed, but it's not always good. I'm a recovering opiate addict. You don't feel it's a detriment to your recovery to smoke? But not, for me personally, no. I've been smoking weed consistently since 2018, and I haven't touched hard drugs like heroin, cocaine, meth, or anything like that since January 2016. I can also drink beer. It doesn't make me think about using drugs. That's just me. But if I did one line of any drug, I'm toast. It's a wrap. If I go around people that do heroin and do all these things, for me, it's a wrap. But that is me. You know, I tell a lot of people, you can be in sobriety, but you're not in recovery. You're anxious, stressed out all the time. But you can also not be 100% sober and be in recovery, be happy, and be humble, because I'm also on Suboxone. So I don't know, man. For me, this is just what works for me. Ken Murray was good before Bernardo. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's facts. Do you believe that American prisoners are eating Desert Storm food? I definitely believe that. Down there, it seems like they're able to actually serve you guys spoiled food. That doesn't happen up here. The food may not always be the best quality, but like it's edible. You know, it's not rotten and sour. Larry Lawton. There's a guy that blew up pretty quick. Shout out to Larry Lawton. When you cook your own food, how does that work? So if you're in Fembrook Penitentiary, medium penitentiary, you get a certain amount of money allotted each week. It gets stacked into a range fund. It gets divided amongst each you. You put out your grocery list. And one guy actually goes to a grocery store in the prison and buys the food. He gets to pick out the stuff, pick out the vegetables. Toronto gangster, you already know. There's a weed store in the plaza that I have my e-bike store in. So expensive, I'm sticking to my online bike stores. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, I find if you go to the reserves, the weed stores definitely are better. 100%. There's more. There's a lot more edibles. They're just better. Social anxiety for me is always kind of, you know, from dawn to the south. Ryan McCarthy. This is the thing. I went from 15 years old to 35 years old on the revolving door system. And honestly, I just realized that I need to find what works for me. I don't care what people say about it. I don't care if it's the proper mold for AA or for this or that. And I don't care if I need a crutch, honestly. As long as I can stay out of goddamn prison, I saw my life as this, zero. Like, there was nothing. If I got to spend the rest of my life in prison, then that's what I was going to do. But, you know, I'm happy, so I'm good. Ben, you already know, man. I mean, Ryan Foster, I don't know if the food I would say is good. If you're in a place where you can cook your own food, you get to at least spice it up. But it's very low quality meat. It's crap for the most part, right? But it's better than most prison food anywhere else. So, yeah. And, you know, if you go to certain places, if you're up north in some of the provincial jails, the food's actually not bad. If you were in the west, in the east back in the day, whew, they made some good food for prison or jail. The only edibles I really like are gummies. But, Joanne, I could give you some taffies that you'd like. Believe me, they taste amazing, too. Stay out of the cage. You already know, Toronto gangster. Screw that, man. I'm done with that. I gave 17 years of my life to that. It's a wrap. I've been watching Death from the beginning, but this is my favorite prison channel. The first one that actually applied to me, being from Ontario. I love it, bro. You already know Bobby's World, man. And shout out to Death too. Go check him out, Lockdown 23 and 1 if you haven't already. Most of you probably have, but he's a good dude, man. Do they cut old heads some slack? They definitely do. You know, I definitely think they do. You know, an old head can definitely get away with being a little bit more mouthy. He can definitely get away with being a little bit more, you know, do a little bit more, I guess, stuff that young guys would never get away with. So, yeah, I definitely think they get cut some slack, but it still is prison. So, do Canadian prisons eat the same meal every day, Monday? No. So, Canadian prisons are on a 4-week schedule. By the way, I'm on here for one more minute. Cupid, you already know, man. What's up? So, you're on a 4-week schedule. It rotates 4 weeks, but it's like the same, I'd say 20 meals that they just kind of rotate. It's just a little bit different version. So if it's a cold tray, it might go from one day being bologna to the next day being bootleg salami to the next day being tuna, you know? So that's kind of how they do it, but you'll get a sandwich like once a week on this day, once a week on this day. It's kind of like the same routine over and over, and it sucks. Brother Hermes. Brother Hermes. You already know, man. I appreciate that. Dropping hits. I don't know that. I'm going to have to check that out. You ever check out Big Herc's channel? Yeah, I've checked it out for sure. Not personally my cup of tea, but, you know, he's in the heart of it. He's in the trenches, so shout out to Big Herc. No disrespect. Have you ever seen someone with bad charges either be left alone out of fear that... So I've definitely seen in Fembrook a lot of people that are on sex charges because it's an integrated penitentiary. Thank you, Joanne, for the 10-piece. You already know very much. Because it's an integrated penitentiary, you definitely are going to deal with sex offenders there. But you definitely also see them get smacked out all the time, punched out, bounced out. It's just a matter of people figure out exactly who's who. So, you know, they're there. People just don't know specifically who it is because in Ontario, man, they really don't even give you your paperwork anymore unless you ask for it. Like you'll have your charges, but before when you came through, your record, your whole record was printed out. Everything that has ever happened to you in the system was printed out. The day you walk in, basically, when you go through your orientation, you'll get a copy of that or within a couple days. So the system has changed a lot. Jail is such a waste of time. It definitely is a waste of time. It's a waste of talent. And yeah, you're gonna burn yourself out, wasting it in prison. You guys already know. I gotta go. I gotta eat dinner. Appreciate you. Love ya. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button and the bell notification button to get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of all of my videos. You guys already know. It's good to see you guys in my live. I appreciate you. A video will be out this weekend. Look out for it. It'll be the video that won that poll. Love each and every one of you. The new Matt Clark.